Everybody thinks people in the military are broke. But actually, active duty military pays better than most civilian jobs.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And I'm Philip.
And we teach you what you need to know about being a grown-up.
Because adulting shouldn't suck. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click that bell so you guys get the notification when we put out some new videos, and then comments below, let us know if you've thought about joining the military.
In this video, we're going to talk about how much money you're going to make in the military, how much the pay is going up this year for your allowance for housing, your base pay, and how much money you're going to get paid for food.
Oh, yeah.
We both joined the National Guard when we were still in high school in 17. We definitely didn't join to get rich, but we did join to do cool stuff. We both drove tanks, and we love America.
Oh, yeah. Oh. We're both active duty recruiters for the National Guard. We're both Sergeant First Classes, which is E7s. But every branch of the military has different rank structures, and we'll talk about that later in this video. He's been in for 18 years, and I've been in for 15 years, which is a long time to be in the military.
I'm old and crusty.
He is old and crusty, and I'm getting old and crusty.
So we're going to start by breaking down base pay because it's the one type of pay that everybody gets in the military no matter what position you serve in. It's going to go based on your pay grade and how long you've been serving. When you first join the military, everybody comes in as an E1 unless you've done something like you've completed college, you got a bunch of college already done but not a completed degree, or you're an Eagle Scout. In that case, you get promoted when you enlist.
In this video, we're going to be covering the pay grades for enlisted service members. When we say pay grades, we're referring to E1, E2, E3, so on and so forth. We're not going to be using rank in this video because ranks are going to be different for every branch of the military, like I had said earlier, and we don't want to confuse everybody. Everybody in the military is going to know what an E1 is, an E2, and so on and so forth. So we're not going to be talking about ranks, which are like private, airmen, seamen, petty officers, lance corporals, all that stuff. We're not going to be using that terminology here in this video.
In 2021, the starting salary for an E1 was $1,785 a month. In 2022, it jumped up to $1,833 a month, which in itself, I mean, that's not a huge pay jump. It's $48 a month, but over the course of a year, that's, almost $600. Every year, our base pay gets a bump when Congress approves a pay raise for the military. This year, it was 5%, which is the biggest one we've seen in a long time. Normally, it's like 1 to 2% every year.
If you want to know how to look this stuff up for yourself, go to Google and type in the military pay and the year and hit search. The site we prefer to use is dfas.mil. That's the one you want to click on. You want to zoom in so you can see the amounts. If you look up at the top of the page, there are some bold numbers. Those are going to represent your years in service. The longer you're in, the more you get paid. At the bottom of the page, you'll see E1s through E9s on the left-hand side. Depending on the rank you come in as, you'll see the monthly base pay amounts. The first column is going to be for 2 years of service or less. E1s make $1,833 a month. E2s make $2,054 a month. E3s make $2,160 a month, and E4s make $2,393 a month. Remember, this is just your base pay. The good thing about serving in the military is there's a bunch of upward mobility. Once you get promoted, you make some more money. And on top of that, every 2 years that you're in the military, you make more money. So this year for me, I hit 16 years of service, and I'm going to get a pay increase even though I'm staying the same rank. A key to being successful in the military is show up, be motivated, be fit, and don't get fat. As long as you can show up and pass your physical fitness tests, you're going to at least make it to the rank of E4. But for whatever reason, this is really hard for so many people. And we don't understand why. It's not that hard. We literally pay you to work out. So why do people have struggles passing the physical fitness test?
All right, so let's say you were an E5 in the military right now.
Oh.
That is the first level of actual leadership responsibilities in the military for most branches. Now, if you were an E5 as of today and you just got promoted, you would be making $3,058 a month as your base pay. Now, we're going to reference an E5 throughout this video, as well as E1s and other ranks, to give you an idea of how much money you're going to make when you first enlist in the military and you come in as an E1, or you work your way up to the first level of actual leadership responsibilities at an E5, and then beyond that. So it's nice to know what you can obtain in your first contract if you work hard.
Yeah.
The next type of pay we're going to talk about is BAH. It's base allowance for housing. You only get it if you live off base. This is tax-free money that you get in addition to your base pay. And it should cover your rent and utilities if you're renting or if you own a home. Now, the amount that you get changes based on the location of your duty station, your rank, and if you have any kind of dependents, which is a spouse or kids.
Now, Sergeant Major, Sergeant Cano, how do I live off of base? Well, typically, you only get to live off of base if you're an E5 or higher, or if you're married. If you're a single dude or a single female and you're in the military,
It's the barracks for you.
You're between the ranks of E1 and E4, you're living in the barracks. And no BAH for you. But that doesn't mean that you should go and run off and marry the first person that you meet just so you can go get BAH and live off of base.
Don't do it.
Yep.
It's a trap.
Alimony is so much more expensive than what you'll be getting for BAH, okay? And if you don't know what alimony is, that's when you have to pay your old ex-spouse money every single month for so many years because they were used to making so much money when you guys were married, and now you guys are separated, and you guys don't make that kind of money, so you have to pay them money
It's
so
expensive.
they can adjust to the lifestyle of being single.
And don't fall in love with a stripper.
No, they
It's not
don't
good.
love you.
Nope.
They don't. They just want your money and
They
your
love your
TRICARE.
paycheck. Yep.
Okay?
Yeah,
Which
TRICARE for sure.
We'll talk about that here in a little bit. If you want to know exactly how much you'll get for BAH, you're going to want to Google BAH calculator. You're going to want to click on the first one that pops up, which should be defensetravel.dod.mil. Make sure that the year is set to the current year, so we're going to be using 2022. Type in your zip code for where you'll be living. Adjust it for whatever pay grade you are or you will be when you join, and hit calculate. The amount that you see is the amount you'll get because, like we had said earlier, it's tax-free. You're also going to see with dependents and without dependents. If you have a wife or kids, then you're going to get the BAH with dependents. If you don't have a wife or kids, then you're going to get BAH without dependents. We're going to give you guys some different examples of what BAH is going to be for different pay grades using Portland, Oregon as a location because that's where I'm stationed, and then I can use this video to show my recruits in the future if they want to know how much money they'll be making. On average, in most cities, depending on your rank, got $100 to $250 a month BAH raise in 2022. When you're using these BAH calculators, you're going to want to use the city that you're going to get stationed in as your city of residence for the BAH calculator. If you're joining the active duty military, you're not going to know what city you're going to be stationed in until you finish basic training and job training.
Surprise!
Then they're going to tell you where you're going to get stationed. So, for example, if you join the military in Portland, Oregon, but you're going to get stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia, you're going to have to use the city Columbus, Georgia, to get your BAH as what you're going to get for your BAH if you're living off a base. But if you're just joining the military, the chances are you're most likely going to have to be in the barracks anyways, unless you're married and you're taking your family with you once you leave. You're going to know where you're going to get stationed if you're joining the National Guard or the Reserves, but when you come back, you're not going to be in a full-time status, so you're not going to get BAH unless you go active duty in the National Guard like Alex and I did, or the Reserves. They both have that option. If you're interested about it, talk to your recruiter. Here's some examples for Portland, Oregon BAH based on different pay grades. Starting off with E1. E1 with dependents, they're going to be making $21.96 a month for BAH. E1s without dependents are going to be making $16.98 per month. Next up, we're going to use E5s. So an E5 with dependents is going to be making $21.99 a month with dependents and $20.25 without dependents in 2022. Last but not least, we're going to use E7s. E7s with dependents are going to be making $26.46 a month, and without dependents, they're going to be making $22.17 a month.
If you're keeping track so far, when you first enlist in the military as an E1, brand new, no skills, you're going to get $18.33 a month for your base pay. That part gets taxed. You're going to get your BAH, and that's going to be $21.96 a month for allowance for housing based on the Portland zip code. Now, if you add those two together, you're looking at over $4,000. And remember, you only get the BAH if you're married or you got dependents. The last type of pay we're going to talk about is BAS, which is Basic Allowance for Subsistence, which, unless you're in the military, I don't think anybody actually even knows what that word is. But subsistence basically means food. So everybody right now gets $406 a month for food, no matter what rank you are.
Yep. That money is just to feed you. You don't get any more BAS if you get married, or if you pop out 1 kid, or 5 kids, or 20 kids. This ain't the welfare. They don't give you more money for having more kids. You're getting $406 regardless if it's you or a Brady Bunch. So keep that stuff in mind.
And the best part, it's tax-free, just like your BAH.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So those are the 3 most common ways you're going to get paid in the military. And yes, there are other ways you can get paid more money for special duty pay or whatever, but that's a huge rabbit hole that we're not going to go down in this video.
Nope.
So if you're an E1, brand new to the military, and you get stationed in Portland, Oregon, you're going to get $1,833 a month for your base pay. And then for your BAH, based on the Portland area, it's $2,196 a month, plus the $406 for food. That comes out to $4,435 a month as an E1. That's crazy. That's really good money for an E1, brand new to the military with no skills, no experience. That comes out to $53,220 a year.
Wild. That's pretty good for an 18-year-old little whippersnapper, if you know what I mean. So that comes out to like $27 an hour. But if you wanted to compare it to a civilian job, they'd have to be closer to $30 an hour, because you have to remember that not all of your pay is taxed. So for a person making the same amount of money as you, they're going to be taxed more than you are, so they're not going to be bringing home as much money.
That makes a big difference.
It really does. So who says being in the military doesn't pay well? If you're 18 to 21 years old and you're making $53,000 a year, you're doing pretty good, in my opinion. Especially when the average 18 to 21-year-old is only making $31,000 to $34,000 a year.
If you work hard, you can get promoted in the military pretty fast. Like Philip was saying, it's not hard. You just got to show up, be motivated, and not get fat. You can make it to an E5 in most branches within 4 years. So we want to show you how much you can make as that first level of leadership. So your base pay is going to be $3,000 or $3,058. Your allowance for housing based on Portland is $2,199. And then your money for food is $406 a month. You add all that up, and that comes out to $67,956 a year. That's almost $68,000 a year after being in the military for like 4 years if you get promoted because you worked hard. That's like $35 an hour. But if, like Philip was saying, if you compare that to a civilian career, you would have to make closer to $40 an hour because not all that money is taxed.
Yeah. I mean, $5,600 a month for 4 years of experience. That's pretty good. I mean, all of this stuff is public knowledge. So let's use myself as an example. E7, you can see how much money I make on the internet, but for my base pay as of 2022, $48.88 a month. My BAH is $26.46, and then we got the $406 for the BAS. That right there is $7,900 a month, but we make a little bit more money because we get a special duty pay as well. So been in for 15 years, making a little over 100K a year. There's no complaints here.
Not bad.
Not bad
Man,
at all.
You ain't that poor military everybody talks about.
Not even to include the free health care that we get when we're full-time. That stuff alone is worth so much money.
Remember, these numbers are going to fluctuate based on where you get stationed. They might be more, they might be less.
Yeah. San Diego's BAH, for my rank, is like $4,000 a month.
Yeah, it's also $5,000 a month for the rent.
Right.
One last thing we want to mention is when you're active duty, you get free health care. That is a big amount of money that you don't have to spend. The average person, the average individual in America spends $450 a month on insurance. That's gross. That's $5,400 a year.
Woo!
And then if you're married and you got 2 kids, the average person spends $1,437 a month on insurance. I don't even know how people afford that.
Me neither.
That comes out to $17,244 a year just for insurance.
Disgusting. So while you're not getting paid this amount of money, you're also not having to pay this amount of money. So if you're that E1 living in Portland, Oregon, doing your duty there, making $53,000 a year, you're really getting closer to making $57,000 a year because you're not having to pay for that health insurance. I've never paid for any medical bill ever in my life because I grew up on state insurance, and then I went into the military at 17, and I've been on that ever since. Now, if you're not full-time military, you can still get the same health insurance that we have, but you have to pay for it, which is still a lot cheaper than it is on the civilian side. It's $50 for an individual and $200 for a family of unlimited dependents, which is still a great deal in comparison to the numbers that Alex was just talking about. So
Way better.
that alone right there is a pretty big benefit. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. In the comments below, let us know if Alex messed up any of the math.
And we'll see you in the next video.
Bye-bye.